Hello there, and welcome to the 16th episode of Strategic Zoomcast. What you're watching is Luvnest's Pioneers, Sturm Pioneers in fact, and he is the OKW in the west of Kolodny, Firma Winter. He's up against Helping Hands, the Soviets in the east. Now then, this is going to be a very interesting game in its entirety, and the main reason isn't because combat engineers just killed a model on a Stern Pioneer squad. No, the main reason is that Helping Hands just finished winning ESL's Kickoff Cup for Company of Heroes 2, which harkens the beginning of their Go For tournament series, which starts on Sunday. The first weekly Go For Cup is on Sunday, and last Sunday was the Kickoff Cup to celebrate it. It was a Swiss-style tournament. Helping Hands won it. He won all 7 games. He went 7-0. He beat some great players. He finished by beating Jove, who at the time was number 1 in 4 of the top 5 factions and number 2 in the other. So Helping Hands is a fearsome competitor. Also of note is that these two players have played each other a couple of times in auto match today. This game's only just finished, and they've traded victories. These two players fear and respect each other. Either player in this situation can be getting the victory. That's what makes this such an interesting game. We've got Luvnest, who is going to be playing in the Go For Cup on Sunday. He's up against last week's winner. And we've also got two players that, when they meet each other in auto match, it's always a great competition. Now then, OKW are quite a strong faction, especially in 1v1, and especially when they've got their Kubelwagen out, capping up points. They've got their Volksgrenadiers trying to be a menace in the centre, trying to utilise a bit of DPS on their conscripts. Both players have a great ability, micro ability as well, so both players hopefully will be on form for this game, and we'll see them at their best, fighting to compete, fighting to win. Sandbag's coming up on the munitions point. He's capping the southern victory point. He seems to have Molotov the Volksgrenadiers. Luvnest does get out of the way. Kubelwagen pushing away this combat engineer in the north and capping the point itself very quickly with 1.15 capping speed. Interestingly, we've got a nice shoe mine coming up just to the west of this strong point here. So if Hans was to take this garrison and then, evacuate it to cap this territory point, he will meet an explosive and fiery end. Out of cover pitched battle here, soon to be swung in Luvnest's favour with the Stern Pioneers, making it highly unfair. Molotov dodged. Conscripts just go for the full retreat. Got a pitched engagement here. We don't need to look at it too much because it's just conscripts behind the green heavy cover truck against a garrison in the church. Kubelwagen capping the strategic point. It looks like Luvnest is pushing south. He doesn't seem too keen on pushing this cut-off point quite yet. To explain what a cut-off is to new players, I did see this on Reddit the other day. This point here, if we look on tap map, hang on. This point here, basically, if you take it, you disconnect all of your opponent's cut-off points. All of your opponent's territory points, rather. That's where it is on Kolodny Firma in the south. But I won't go on too much about it because it'll bore the hell out of Company of Heroes fans that have been watching this game for years. Conscripts pushing this garrison, getting rid of the Volksgrenadiers. They don't want to tango when there's no cover to sit behind. You only want to go up against the garrison when you've got cover. For example, these conscripts here are currently losing because they're out of cover. Luvnest didn't want to get into a situation where there was no cover, so he just got out of there entirely. Kubelwagen's diverted all the way south to cap this standard territory point. The reason he's doing that is it's called back capping. He's using the Kubelwagen to very quickly cap up the points as Volksgrenadiers haven't had time to do. And it's a very efficient way of approaching the game. Look at the combat engineers. They do have their Rock 5 flamethrower, Rock S. And they get straight in this garrison, put a nice bit of flame lickage upon this Volksgrenadier. Look at the amount of health damage on that first salvo of flame. That first projectile of fury. That sounded terrible. I can't think of any other way to describe a flamethrower killing men. Nice shoe mine goes off. Kills 3 Volksgrenadiers. And then one of them says, I do not want to die here. Too late, mate. You are dying. There's nothing we can do about it. You're just going to have to man up and take it. Nice. Luvnest has just finished deploying his mechanized regiment headquarters, otherwise known as the Fast Luke's building, because that's what it's for, guys. If you didn't know, MG34 has come into this munitions point, and it's taking it as we speak, and it's going to keep it because it'll suppress anything that comes in its mist. If you were a beginner player and you're wondering why every OKW player seems to go Luftwaffe ground forces doctrine, it's because of the MG34 and OKWs not having a heavy suppression dealing unit within their doctrinal tree, so they have to get the commander to call one in, basically. Conscripts pushing for this point. Will they come out of the building and blow that mine up? We'll have to keep an eye on. There we go! Full wipe on the conscripts! That is unfortunate for Hans. Nice from Luvnest, though, showing us a little trick there. Nice to see. Stern Pioneers getting pushed away by the conscripts. They were behind this green cover tractor there, a heavy cover tractor, and the conscripts were at range, so that's why the conscripts won that engagement. You have to know your ranges, and Luvnest unfortunately lost out in that particular situation. Kubelwagen again capping the northern victory point. You'll notice that Luvnest has been dominant for victory points. He's on 4-2-1. Hans is electing not to build his conscripts. Instead, he's building a Dushka, which signifies that he has gone for lend-lease tactics. So that's Dushka, and then late game when you get 10 command points, you can build the M4C Sherman. Very good attrition unit if you manage to start wiping those Volksgrenadiers. Not much health for Luvnest. You'll notice a lot of his squads have very little health. They might have 5 men, but they are suffering. That's because he doesn't have the battle group headquarters. He's instead gone for the mechanized. And you'll notice, look what's building. The Panzer II Luke's tank is about to come out. Nice defensive mine here. So Hans is preparing against this Luke's. Does know it's coming on. He's got the tier 2. He's got the Zisgun building. He's preparing himself for it. Stern Pioneers being bullies, trying to push these conscripts away. Volksgrenadiers in turn being pushed away. Nice! That was the Dushka killing the Kubelwagen. So Hans getting a little bit of material back there. He's got a long way to go after that big conscript loss.
Anti-tank gun is ready for action.
So just as the Lux hits the field, so does the Zisgun. That's good teching from helping Hans. There's a mine there in a nice prominent position, trying to defend Hans's territory sectors against this rampaging Lux. Where's the Zisgun? Where is the Zisgun? Just coming into line of sight now. The Dushka's going to stay in the church. He's going to rely on that Zisgun getting into line of sight. There he goes. He goes straight back into the church. Good micro from Hans. Should see the Zisgun coming onto your field very soon. There's a nice incendiary grenade. That is going to force the Dushka out of there, straight into the path of the Panzer II. That's not a great retreat path for Hans. Fortunately for him, though, the Zis does open up. It does get penetration. Elsewhere, Stern Pioneers open up on conscripts. And the Volksgrenadier pushing south to cap some points up. That's nice timing from Hans. He has predicted what he's up against. It must have been those low health Volksgrenadiers. Must give the game away. Nice Molotov through the hedge there. Just missed out on the Stern Pioneers. I think he attacked just to the north of them. There is a shoe mine just south of them, so they are going to try and bait those conscripts into it. So nice bit of counterplay from both players, especially the older Molotov through the hedge. That's a classic move. And it requires a headset to establish, where your opponent is. Well, I suppose he saw the Stern Pioneers capping when he had line of sight with the territory point. Luke's already on 3 kills. One of them just seen on your screen there. And Hans is going to have to start pushing out to try and get some of these victory points very shortly. So he's got base healing. He's got anti-tank grenades. He's got Molotovs. That's a lot spent, That's 500 manpower. 250 plus the 2 125s. And it's also 40 fuel from the Molotovs and the anti-tank grenades. So it's a lot of... he's putting a lot of his economy into 3 conscript squads right now. Well, I suppose the field infirmary, that does heal everything, so there is that aspect. Duska's going to get in a nice strong position to try and push away the Stern Pioneers.
Make ready to move.
Lucas has climbed up to 5 kills.
Half-track has been permanently established as a static post.
There you go, there's Battle Group Headquarters. He had to back tech for that, and that's what OKW players are forced to do now if they go for fast flicks. They have to get healing at some point when they're up against a good opponent, otherwise the manpower will actually swing in their opponent's favour. Zis repositioning, it knows where the Lux is. They can try and hunt it down, so do the conscripts. They do have anti-tank grenades should they need them. They can get a damaged engine on Lux, but it is a dangerous and tricky thing to do. Thinks better of it. Volksgrenadiers behind that heavy cover truck. They throw in the incendiary grenade, pushing away the Dushka. Here comes a Molotov on the Volksgrenadier. It does hit this time. This gun does get penetration again on the Lux. And Dushka has not suppressed yet thanks to the sandbags just north of the victory point and the heavy cover truck. Oh, Fallschirmjägers pop from the church. They absolutely disintegrate that Dushka. It looks like the Volksgrenadiers are going to be able to cap it as well, which is the best thing that Luvnest can do in that situation. And now he has a Dushka machine gun. Interestingly of note, the icon for the Dushka just changed from the 2-bullet, large bullet icon for the Dushka into the 3-bullet MG34 icon, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. It's a little bit confusing. The commander just announced that battle damage estimates have shown that Helping Hands is only on 300 victory points now. Luvnest has only lost 14, so he does have a distinct victory point advantage, does Luvnest. And if you're thinking about it, in the Go 4 Cup on Sunday, if this was a quarter-final or above game, and Hans lost this many victory points, he wouldn't be getting the deciding choice for that for the decider game, because that will come into play for the best of threes. Volksgrenadiers dodge the Molotov, jump out. They do jump out of the frying pan into the fire though, because they've got a combat engineer with a flamethrower waiting for them. Lux is pushing south to try and defend against these conscripts. Luvnest wants to keep all the victory points in his control, and he currently has a triple cap on Hans. Bit of oorahing in. That was an oorah away from the Lux. Nice defensive oorah from Hans. That's an oorah, we don't want to die kind of oorah. Volksgrenadiers and Stern Pioneers laying in ambush, waiting for conscripts dare to push against this heavy munitions territory, or indeed the southern victory point. Elsewhere, you've got the MG34 watching over the munitions. The only victory point Hans could currently go for is the north, or possibly the centre, but you'd have to get rid of the Dushka now. Hans giving it. Here comes a T-70 though. Attacking the ground through the sight blocker against that Volksgrenadier. Here comes the T-70. Straight for Tier 3. With only a Zis gun built from Tier 2. The Zis gun of which is currently threading the eye of the needle. Oh, but the T-70's been caught out of position. 2 Shreks penetrating twice. He's got to get out of there. He's going to use the bonus cover road and reverse south, get around this sight blocker and go to safety. So that was lucky for Hans. Unlucky that he got penetrated twice, but lucky that he managed to get away from it in total. And what a game we've got on our hands. This is a really good match so far. Nice, interesting combat between excellent players. Everything matters in this game. Here comes the Lux. Will Hans be in a position to push soon? He's currently repairing his T-70. He's got his this. He's got a few conscripts to hand. He could make a push in the south should he want it. He's putting the Dushka in the church. It's going to be Dushka versus Dushka combat right now across from the victory points from each other. He is capping the northern victory point in his hands. Luvnest is currently capping the south, so he won't momentarily get any reprieve on victory point count. Dushka Wars! The best wars! The 4-man Dushka of the OKW just killed 1 man on the Soviet Dushka. Looks like the OKW Dushka's winning. Look at this line of infantry here. The T-70 is going to have a field day should it get past the Shreks. Is this fully repaired now? So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Lux is opening up on the Dushka. Here comes the T-70. Pushing away 1 Shrek. He has only got 3 men, so he did have to retreat. Doesn't want to linger against T-70 for too long because they can plug away and disintegrate the squads. Here comes the Su-76, second unit built from Tier 3 for Hans. Luvnest lying in wait. T-70 hasn't managed to fall into any of these mines yet. Just pushing away units for fun. Hasn't gotten too aggressive. Ooh, Su-76 with a nice light artillery barrage, so it noticed the Soviet Dushka was losing and came in. Here comes the T-70, feeling aggressive. Ooh, the Shrek's been pushed away, so the T-70 could push a little bit harder now. It's only got a Panzerfaust to worry about. House about to go down. 2 more shots.
Volksgrenadier are on the line.
Lux is feeling aggressive. Volksgrenadier rebuilds. That is for the Volksgrenadier that died at some point. It'll be interesting to see when that was. Conscripts were pushed away eventually. I wonder when that was. I can't work out when it was, to be honest. My bad. I've been quite observant in this particular game. I feel like I'm on form, so I can't actually understand when they died. Maybe if you're watching this and you've been, you've got the peripheral vision of seeing the unit icons, you can point out when it died. That'd be great. Leave me a comment, please. That'd be fantastic. T-70 pushing away the Fallschirmjägers. It is up against the Panzerfaust, and obviously the light armour destroying capabilities of the Lux. It's mostly an anti-infantry counter, nearly entirely, in fact. Dushka getting aggressive. Hans is having to be aggressive with that unit because he needs to cap that central victory point sooner rather than later. The southern victory point's been eaten up for Luvnest. Nice. Incendiary grenade goes in. Almost disintegrating the Dushka. Oh, it does in fact get a shot in from the STG. Second Dushka to be wiped. Fortunately for Hans, there's nobody that can cap it right now, but they are 300 manpower pop, so it is quite costly. Especially costly when you went tier 2 anyway. And you could have built a Maxim, but you didn't. Obviously Dushkas are better, they're just 60 manpower more, that's the only problem. Luvnest being a menace with his Lux. Stern Pioneer taking the Dushka. Dear God, that's an expensive Dushka machine gun. He does now have 3 of those machine guns. Here comes the T-70. He doesn't want to let Luvnest have it this time. Will it get the kill on retreat? Looks likely. Does indeed get a headshot on retreat. Here comes the Panzerschreck though. Obersoldaten pushed away. Seemingly pushed away by the ZIS and the conscripts. But Hans is going to have a big push in now to try and get that Dushka back. It's his quite much closer to Luvnest base than it is to his. He's going for it with combat engineers. That is quite risky, especially if the Lux managed to get the kill on retreat. ZIS penetrates, as does the T-70 on one of its 3 shots so far. The 4th shot misses. Fallschirmjägers putting a lot of fire down on the conscripts, but they can linger because the second Dushka... Yeah, he's built a second Dushka. Interesting. We've had 3 Dushkas built, that's 900 manpower spent on Hans. He's only got 2 of them in his possession right now. Luvnest has the other. Ooh, nice flank by Hans, getting away from the array of that MG34. Here comes the Lux, though. It absolutely destroys the good work Hans had done there and pushes it away regardless. But Hans doesn't worry about these things anymore. He's a much more mature player than he used to be. And if he gets any bad luck, he just kind of accepts it and works through it. And that's why he won the tournament on Sunday. It's his maturity now that he plays this game. ZIS and MG are a potent combination. One's anti-infantry, one's anti-tank, but looks like that the lingering suppression on the Dushka made Hans feel he needed to retreat, and it's probably wise to do so. Look, you had the Obersoldaten coming in with their MG34 upgrade, you had the Vet 3 Volts, the Stern Pioneers, 2 other squads backing them up. That Dushka would have died otherwise. God, that was a quick road to 10 command points. It's only 19 minutes, that's about right. But here comes the M4 Sherman. Nice unit for Hans. He's up against 2 Shreks though. Second of which penetrates. So the shock unit it needs to stop picking away at models. There you go, that's one kill. But yeah, it can be a very good unit in the long run for the allied player. Especially when it starts getting squad wipes and such in the late game if the opponent doesn't micro away from it well enough. And they can tango with Panzer IVs. Can't obviously tango with Panthers or anything more than a Panther, but they're not a bad tank at all, really. And also they mean you don't have to build tier 4 because they are a call-in, because they are of course Lend-Lease. Oh, nice shot in from the T-70. Has been destroyed. The Fallschirmjägers are coming in there. Conscripts attacking. Here comes the Panzer IV. Trying to put as much fire as he can in the background. Just use a Volksgrenadier to take that MG34 back into his possession. The SU-76 gets a nice shot in on the loose. Will he get the final killing blow? I just noticed just how low Hans' victory point count is. He needs to start making things count. T-70 nearly gets the kill on the Volksgrenadiers. One more shot required. Luke's is destroyed. Panzerschreck comes in against the SU-76. The T-70 did get the kill on the Volksgrenadiers. The Volksgrenadiers themselves, the other squad, is in pursuit, but they instead decide to retreat because there's a lot of ordnance in the vicinity. Now Hans needs to make use of what he's just done. He needs to cap the central victory point. Push the southern one if he can. There is a shoe mine waiting for him if he tries it, so definitely the centre one for now. And he's got to make these victory points count. Hans is known for his comebacks. He is known for never giving up. And he needs to show us that right now by pushing for these victory points and making them count. We do have a Jagdpanzer IV out for Luvnest, which is a very potent unit. It does require a little bit longer lines of sight to make full use of its abilities. So now that the map's starting to open up a little bit and some of the terrain has been deformed, it does help it out slightly. Here comes the Dushka. It's going to have to open up quickly on the Stern Pioneer and the Orbital Soldaten. It's an interesting proposition. Pushing away the Stern Pioneers. Doesn't want to cap quite yet. And if he were to go to for the flank, he would be met by this Dushka. SU-70 is getting in position for a big salvo. Light artillery barrage, most likely. Ooh, but we are going to see... Yeah, there we go. But we are going to see the tank destroyer of the OKW open up. Not a shot hits though. Fallschirmjäger still suppressed for now. T-70 getting up to Veterans 3. That's what killing OKW soldiers will do for you. They bleed a lot of experience. Also, Soldaten do wipe the ZIS at range. And you're going to have the MG34 opening up on their counterport very shortly. Fallschirmjäger's pinned. They do have to retreat. The Sherman's coming into play. He's trying to flank the Panzer IV. The Jagdpanzer IV. He's got two Shermans. We have got two Panzerfausts though, so it is going to be an interesting battle overall. He needs to get around the rear armour of the Jagdpanzer. Vet 3 T-70 destroying that Volksgrenadier. The turret pintle mount gunner of the Sherman gets the kill. Stern Pioneers in the rear. Conscripts trying to Urar up against them. So Hans is in not a bad position now. Look at what armour he has. A T-70, Veterans T3. He's got two Shermans. He's got his Vet 2 SU-76. He's got the central victory point. Well, the Stern Pioneers are soon going to see to that. He's also got a second combat engineer, so that's going to help him repair at lightning fast times. Nice flame nade in there. Don't know if it's an incendiary or a Molotov. Looks like an Molotov because that is a Stern Pioneer. They can't throw incendiary. That answers that question. Jagdpanzer IV on the hunt. Jagd literally means hunter, so I suppose that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Oh, Sherman goes straight over a mine. And the Jagdpanzer, as we said, is perusing for a bruising. Take advantage of the road. Will the Sherman get around the sight blocker? He tries for an attack ground. He probably should have just carried on moving because it was quite rubbish. Orbital Soldaten trying to stop the Grand Theft Auto of that MG. Or the recrewing. So difficult to make our minds up on whose MG is who in this particular game now. Here comes Airborne Assault. Has to be on an opponent's territory behind enemy lines, and he's chosen the victory point to get his free complimentary Fallschirmjägers courtesy of 250 munitions. Very good choice from Luvnest. Luvnest is a competitive player. He values now diminishing Hans's victory points. He's only got 49 left. So although Hans has a lot of medium armour and light armour, he's going to have to start making use of it. You have to start making it work for him. And by work for him, I mean he's going to have to start capping victory points, because that's where he's weak right now. Luvnest has a second Jagdpanzer 4 coming out. Interesting choice. The first of which just penetrated the Sherman, pushing it away entirely. Tiny bit of health remaining. So that's both Shermans currently out of action. And Hans is having to get aggressive. He's pushing up against Orbelsoldaten, which don't have an infantry counter, so, anti-tank counter, so that's not a bad option. He's got the central victory point, he's got the northern victory point. He can make this game swing in his favour. I believe in Hans. Do you, the viewer, believe in Hans? I certainly do. I've seen what this man can do in the most recent tournament. He can do a lot of good work. A bit strategic, he has to fit more of the units in our field of view. That's what it's there for. Might as well use it. This Dushka has been found out by the conscripts. Its arc of fire is large, but it doesn't seem to be large enough. There we go, we've got the SU-76 opening up with light artillery barrage. You've got the Jagdpanzer 4 nearly killing the Vet 3 T-70. We're not quite. So Hans has the northern VP. He's currently losing the middle, but he is capping the south, so it will stay in just about his favour for now. He has got a material advantage. He needs to get these Shermans fully repaired, though, in order to make it work for him. Two Panzer 4s getting in position. What a powerful anti-tank counter that truly is. Mine goes off. That is heavy engine damage against that Jagdpanzer. Here comes the Sherman, now fully surveying what it's up against in the two Jagdpanzer 4s. Doesn't want to go for anything too quite yet. They've got Fallschirmjägers going up against this two-man con, but also an MG34 that's been stolen, so that's nice for Hans. So there you go, a little bit of larceny on both sides. One more shot and it won't be the Sherman that gets it, because it has got a main gun destroyed. Will it be the SU-76? Nice, it gets the kill. Oh, could be coming up against the Panzer Faust here. Needs to push away the Fallschirmjägers before they can do the damage. Will he use the Fire Panzer Faust ability? It'd be risky, they have got two men left. Thankfully, fans just push away that Fallschirmjäger, so he is managing to stay in this. Victory point alert, he's got the north, he's capping the south, he's not got the middle. T-70 gets penetrated. It's also going to come under Schwerpanzer headquarters fire. Jagdpanzer gets the kill on the Vet 3 T-70. If only he'd gone north of the church in that there. I feel that Hans might have wished he would have microed better there. Oh, and another shot in from the Jagdpanzer, this time killing one of the Sherman. Jagdpanzers are utterly obliterating Hans's army at this point. Rakettenwerfer coming out for Luvnest. He did cancel a Puma there, he decided against it. He feels to have another amount of fuel to get a second Jagdpanzer 4 once again. How is Hans on the fuel count? Not doing too great, he has spent a lot of it. It's a shame he can't really make use of his allied supply drop in this game, because obviously the Schwerpanzer headquarters and other 80. Actually, there's not that much else on the field, to be fair, so it's mostly just the Schwer. So he could send the fuel in here, it might actually miss the Schwer if he was lucky. So it is an option possibly available to him. 8 kill Sherman, it's got 1 pip of veterancy, it can start to do work for Hans. He just needs to escape the Jagdpanzer 4, which is proven to be so sturdy. Fallschirmjäger's pushing north. There is a bazooka on the floor there. Quite know when Hans got the kill on that. Must have been recently though, because obviously the Fallschirmjägers would have picked it up by now otherwise, all the conscripts. There you go, double Shrek tank buster squad there. Looks like he's pushing south to get his own Dushka with his conscripts. He's got a second Dushka in the north here, trying to stop the Fallschirmjägers, the march of them. Here comes a Sherman, gets penetrated straight away by the Jagdpanzer 4. Shoe mine fail there, being found out by the combat engineers with a flamethrower. Hans is staying in this game. The longer he stays in, the more he's going to be up against OKW late game. So he needs, yeah, he needs to get more medium armor out, and he needs to make it work for him, really. He needs to keep his disc gun central as well to be possibly counted towards the Panzer IV, in my opinion. Obviously, Hans is a far better player than I am. That's difficult for me to say. Oh, the MG34 was just absolutely eviscerated by the Fallschirmjäger. That's going to allow them to cap the north. It's going to put the drain back in Luvnest's favour. He has got the Jagdpanzer IV and the Obersoldaten watching over the central victory point, so he's going to be in a strong position of tick-tock very soon. Hands up to 68 fuel. He needs more of it. He needs to get enough for a second Sherman. They are quite expensive relative to what they are, though, to take into account the lack of tech. So Helping Hands instead goes for another T-70. It was a very useful unit in the first place. Interesting, Luvnest is now going for the Panzerwehr. It's going to be an interesting unit. So obviously, Hans has a mixture of infantry and a tiny bit of light armour, and the fact that he's now got a Sherman followed by a T-70. So Panzer IV is actually a really good shout. You could argue that maybe he shouldn't have gone for a second. Well, no, you couldn't argue that. This is Luvnest. Whatever he builds is meta. Molotov goes in. What a lovely flame particle effect there, pushing away the MG34 before Hans had even had time to cancel it. Just how quick Luvnest's micro is. You can tell the model animation from 7 miles away. Pinning the Stern Pioneers. Here comes the Volksgrenadier. So surely with the S incendiary grenade indeed thrown on the Dushka. That's what they're best at. Dismantling support weapons. 2 Dushkas in the centre. That's how desperate it's getting for Hans. He's also got the T-70. It knows there's something there, but unfortunately for the T-70, the Fallschirmjägers are behind cover, which is giving them scout cloak, rather. They are now found out, though. But here comes the Tank Buster squad. Both Shreks do penetrate. It's forcing the T-70 away. It's a shame for Luvnest that he didn't manage to get the Faust off before it. Panzer IV and Jagdpanzer IV pushing in. Just getting pushed away very shortly as well. Sherman and Zis combo. Perhaps a bit of merge necessary to keep that Zis relevant. It's only got 3 men, they are quite low health. Jagdpanzer in a great position to push away the Sherman. It can't quite get the shots in the Panzer IV that it would have wanted. But for Hans, this is not bad because he currently has the central victory point. How long for? Here comes the Obersoldaten. Here comes the MG34. At least he's got the south victory point for now. The middle one is going to get taken away from him very shortly. Nice shot in from the Sherman. Destroying what little health the Obersoldaten had left. And the Dusk gets the kill on the Obersoldaten. That's a nice pickup for Hans. Just needs to stop OKW capping the central point now. He's going crazy. He's using a Dusk. He doesn't want to do that. Here comes Luvnest Dusker, possibly capping the central victory point. It does indeed. Also, we've got him capping the southern one. MG34 isn't suppressing fast enough for Hans. Sherman putting excellent fire down on the Stern Pioneers, who are in turn pushing away the conscripts. This is leaving it in Luvnest's favour in the centre. Hans does not want to do that. Panzer IV getting into picture. Hasn't actually managed to get... Bloody hell, I say that. It's got 7 kills. I was going to say shots off on vehicles, but it's done more than enough against infantry so far. The Pintle mount doing a lot of work. Oh, nice mine on the flanking Volksgrenadiers there with the Shrek. They were going to try and penetrate the rear arm of the Sherman. They get a mine for their troubles, nearly dying in the process. Hans has to try his best to cap the central victory point, but it is with a 1-man combat engineer who might not necessarily want to do that all the time. Fallschirmjäger's getting a nasty bit of smoke there. That is the Blendkorper. I don't know how to say that. I'll say it like how I just said it. That'll do for me. Fallschirmjäger's getting pushed away. They are quite a squishy unit. Here comes the Panzer IV. showing its medium armor prowess. And Hans is ticking down. He's got 13 victory points remaining. Love is currently capping the centre. Where are Hans' units? They're diverting, but are they diverting fast enough? Can he answer the call of Luvnest, the German? Is Luvnest going to get a tick-tock victory?
They only have 10 points remaining.
Or is Hans going to show once again why he is known as the comeback king of Co? Fallschirmjägers wiped! Hans is in a very strong position now. He just needs to make it happen. He needs to get in position here. We've got Luvnest. Oh, the Rakettenwerfer from Cloak and the Panzer IV get the kill on the Su-76 newly built, and Luvnest gets the win thanks to his expert victory point dominance there. Hans just didn't quite manage to make it work for him. He laid some excellent mines, he got in good positions, but Luvnest, you even saw him use airborne assault to cap that northern victory point. That's how much he is a tournament level player, and that's the standard you're having to compete against here. That's an OKW player, not even not bothering, because he was certainly getting questions asked by Hans to him there. Well, that's the OKW player here going for victory point control. That is Luvnest in a tournament level mindset, and that is what Hans is going to have to aspire to beat this Sunday to maintain his ESL crown. I can give you spoilers now. He did manage to beat Luvnest in the game just prior to this one, and both games seem to be very good, so you've got a lot to watch this Sunday. Obviously you've got Jove, Jesulin, some great players there, and plenty of others as well. So I hope you see me. I'm going to be casting from 1 PM on Sunday. I think Stormless is going to be casting with me, so it's going to be hopefully a treat for you to watch. So look forward to that. Thank you, and I hope to see you around for episode 17, which will be next week. Please subscribe so I don't have to spam links to it around the internet. Instead, you get a nice link telling you the video's online. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.